adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly. This is Grizzly True Crime and we are going to watch Brian Walshe get sentenced today, which is December 18th of 2025. If you're watching from the future, then thank you so much for watching the replay. I hope you'll check out the rest of the trial. It's all time-stamped for you. I've called this day 12 because it's the 12th day that this is the last day of the trial, so to speak, because he's going to get sentenced and it's mandatory life without parole. So welcome everyone. Please like and share so others know that we are live right now and they can come and find us and come and chat with us. I would like to show you that one of the jurors actually spoke to the media so far. Listen here, jurors. Come here. If anyone from this trial would like to contact me, even if you didn't testify, for example, the babysitter. Man, I wish we heard from the babysitter. There are statements the babysitter made to law enforcement. She was interviewed, so it's not like they never spoke to her, but man, I was hoping she was going to testify, about Brian Walshe's demeanor on between January 1st and the 8th of 2023. He was arrested on the 8th, right? Okay, so I want to show you this. It's a short video, 1 minute and 45 seconds of a juror speaking out to WCVB and saying how the deliberations went. So if you haven't seen it yet, great. If you have, then thanks for watching with us. Here we go. Wait, let me put the sound on for you.
Happened to her that night.
A juror on the Brian...
Let's go all the way, we don't want to miss a second. Here we go.
Didn't deserve what happened to her that night.
A juror on the Brian Walshe trial is speaking with us over Zoom about finding the Cohasset man guilty of first-degree murder.
What led you to the guilty verdict?
The testimony and evidence.
The group of 12 rendered its verdict Monday after 6 hours of deliberation.
5 hours 45. Actually, apparently within 5.5 or so, they indicated they had a verdict. For us, we were watching, and when there was courtroom movement, it was 5 hours 45, which was quite long. We thought, many of us thought they'll be back in like less than an hour, right? That he's going to be quicker than Matthew Paul for the verdict. Brian Walshe did not take the stand in this trial either. So guess what I think is going to happen today? He might make a statement, right? Is he gonna want to have the last word? Sometimes these guys do. Like Matthew Paul, we watched the trial together. That case, he decided to not take the stand. But guess what? Right before sentencing, he made quite the horrific statements. At some point, I should make a collection for us, like a case file of all the worst pre-sentencing statements. Matthew Paul's was disgusting. So let's see if Brian Walshe says anything today. Now here we keep going here.
Prosecutors presented evidence that Walshe killed his wife Anna 3 years ago in their Cohasset home, then dismembered her body and dumped her remains, which have not been found. Walshe's defense attorneys argued he found Anna dead in bed, suffering a sudden unexplained death, a claim the jury apparently did not believe.
His story about that she had sudden death in bed and he panicked and got rid of her body, the jury did not believe that. So it wasn't really a question of whether or not we would find him not guilty. It was more a question of murder in the first degree versus murder in the second degree.
See, we knew that, right? We were like, that's probably what they're doing, right? It's not about like, he's not guilty. It's going over all the evidence to decide, okay, is it premeditated murder, like murder in the first degree, or is it second degree? And at the end of the day, they decided on guilty of first degree murder, right? Marentia Grief said, congratulations on 470K. That's a nice number, hey? Because almost the end of the year, okay? And at the end of the year, we like round numbers. I mean, 500 would be great. But like, this is great too. Thank you so much. And welcome everyone. If you're new here, I'm so glad you're part of this community. So yeah, they were deciding between murder 1 and murder 2. That makes sense. And at the end of the day, I just asked myself why the defense, why did they box themselves in with that theory, saying that she died suddenly in bed, then he panicked? Why can't you say she slipped and fell down the stairs? That would be more believable. Or, well, we had an argument and then, I pushed her down the stairs. Okay, that would be bad. That would be guilty. But do you know what I mean? It's like, You want people to believe. No one's going to believe that. No one's going to believe that Brian Walshe got up in the middle of the night after a New Year's Eve party and went to clean the kitchen. And when he went back upstairs, then suddenly he found his wife dead. That just makes no sense. They should have rather said nothing. Rather have no theory. Have no theory whatsoever than that. That even the jury was like, no, no one's going to believe that.
This juror tells us while some considered second degree, they reached agreement that there was premeditation.
At any point when this was happening, or even right before, Brian could have made a different choice. He could have stopped.
She is heartbroken for Anna's 3 children and hopes her family and friends will find some peace.
I pray that her friends and her family are able to find some closure. I feel terrible. Anna's children will have to bear this for the rest of their life. It's just chilling.
I see the camera moving. I do like it when the camera person does that. Like, hello, don't worry, we're on our way. Thank you, ma'am or sir. Here we go, everyone. Are we ready?
Hear. All present evidence for the Honorable Diane Freniere, Justice of the Norfolk Superior Court. Ron here, to your attendance, shall be heard. Let's have the call of Massachusetts in the court. Please be seated.
Where is he? Oh, there he is.
Your Honor, in the matter of the Commonwealth versus Brian Walshe, Norfolk Superior Court, criminal indictment number 2023-0091. Defendant and counsel present in court. Defendants represented by Attorney Larry Tipton and Attorney Kelly Porges. Commonwealth is represented by Attorney Greg Connor, Attorney Ian Yan.
I'm gonna snark already. Why is he in his fancy little coat? Why? Get this guy in his freaking jail jumpsuit. I'm not amused. Are you amused? I object, and I'm offended.
As an attorney, Tracy Cusick. Counsel, starting with the Commonwealth, kindly identify yourselves for the court and the record.
Good morning, Your Honor. Greg Connor for the Commonwealth.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Ann Yas for the Commonwealth.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Tracy Cusick for the Commonwealth.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning, everyone. Kelly Porges on behalf of Mr. Walshe.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Larry Tipton for Mr. Walshe.
Just stop it.
Please be
Just
seated.
sit your ass down. Good morning, Your Honor. Yes, I had a lovely breakfast this morning. Can somebody please, did he like file a motion to be in street clothes? And he'd be calling it not street clothes, okay? He's in fashion. Why? He's not special. I hate it.
All right, I have 2 motions up here, one from each of you, and I'll address those in a minute.
You are unmuted.
So let me start by, excuse me, taking a drink of water. Let me start by listing what the court has reviewed in preparation for this sentencing to make sure that everything you think that I have reviewed, I have in fact received and reviewed. So I've received the parties' sentencing memos. That comprises 1 sentencing memo submitted, I think, yesterday or the day before, late in the day before, from the Commonwealth. The defense has provided a sentencing memo along with a supplement that I received this morning. I think that was filed yesterday after the close of the business day. I also have received various victim impact statements in writing, to include victim impact statement on behalf of the 3 minor children from the Department of Children and Family Services, DCF. I've also received victim impact statements written from Melissa Kirby and from Peter and Pam Kirby. And I sought out and shared with the parties and have reviewed various sentencing commission information, as well as guideline calculation from probation, as well as Mr. Walsh's carry and triple I, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And I've now just received and will review, prior to deciding my sentence, a letter from Diane Walshe. As an initial matter, is there anything that the parties submitted that I didn't just now list that you expected me or want me to review before sentencing? Commonwealth first.
Your Honor, there will be a victim impact statement given by Anna's sister, Alexandra Dimitrievich, and she's prepared to give that to the court.
Okay, but as far as written materials, any other written materials that you are hoping me to review before I impose sentence?
No other written materials, and I just want to note, FTR is not on at this point in time, and I don't know if the court needs that on. I know we have a court reporter and we're in good hands, but sometimes we've been running both.
All right, I thank you for pointing that out. We do, when we have the court reporter, that is the primary method of memorializing the events, but always good to have a backup, and I see that Madam Clerk has put it on now. For the defense, are there any other written materials that you wish the court to review?
You have everything.
All right, let me just take a moment to review this letter.
A letter from Diane Walshe. She doesn't appear to be in the courtroom. Apparently she was trying to slip notes to the defense to get to, you know, Fancy Boy. And the judge didn't like it, obviously. I didn't see her in the courtroom now. She might actually be there, I just didn't see her when they panned over to the back. Oh, he's definitely going to make a statement, isn't he? He's like, I'm ready. D says, what? How did I miss the attempted note passing? Call this rumor on social media. I didn't see it happen, so I don't know. It's just what I've heard. Whereas other social media posters say, no, that didn't happen. She just left. She was talking to Kelly Porges and then left, and then the verdict came in. She apparently, one of the other rumors is she actually just wanted to go and like go and get coffee or do something, and they're like, you have to be back within 10 minutes, otherwise you can't come in. So one of the other statements, rumors, whatever out there on social media is that she just didn't make it back in time for the verdict. I don't know if that, I don't know which one's true. How would I know? That's why all I could say is I don't see her with my own eyes in the courtroom right now. Maybe it's too much for her. I wouldn't blame her. He was found guilty of first-degree murder. So that's mandatory life without parole. He's not getting out. Stefan says, Fancy Boy just asked his lawyer, so do I have to say your honor before starting my rant? Can you imagine? If the judge is reading Diane Walshe's letter, it's a long one, hey? A lot of words. It's a novel. Queen Bee is here. Thank you for being here. You said thank you for covering this trial. Oh, thank you for being here with us. You were 15 seconds behind with me chipping in, so I went forward 15 seconds. Now we're live. This demeanor, and honestly, no. He should be in his jail jumpsuit. He's a convicted killer. You, can you hear me, Brian Walshe? I'm talking to you. They're gonna cut your hair off? You're gonna be in a jail jumpsuit whether you like it or not. Like, I wonder, I didn't check now with the court record. Did they file a motion for him to be in his little fancy boy clothes or what? When he wore this jacket on one of the days, I was like, he's definitely going to testify because he's wearing his little fancy collar jacket. It is a nice collar. I like an interesting collar. Not trying to compliment him. Just the jacket. So does it mean he's going to make a statement today? Maybe. Still asking questions, huh, Brian Walshe?
All right. Thank you. We'll start with the Commonwealth's presentation of whatever victim impact statements that you wish me to hear orally.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Commonwealth would ask Alexandra Dimitrovic to address the court. Would you like her at the witness stand or from the podium?
In the witness stand.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sister, right?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. You may be seated.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning, everyone. My name is Alexandra Dimitrievich, and I'm the sister of Anna Walshe. I am here today to represent myself and my mother. I want to share with the court how losing my sister in January 2023 has forever changed our lives and left us with an unbearable emptiness. Losing my sister Anna so unexpectedly has altered our world in ways we never imagined. Anna was not just my sister. She was someone I grew up with, someone who knew me in ways no one else ever will. I struggle with the grief that comes without warning, hoping every morning that this is all just a terrible dream. The most painful part of this loss is knowing her children must now grow up without their mother's hand to hold. They now face a lifetime of milestones, big and small, where her absence will be deeply and painfully felt. This tragedy has also devastated my mother. She has developed severe depression and chronic exhaustion. Every single day, she carries the weight of losing her daughter. Our entire family is still learning how to live with this emptiness. Holidays and birthdays are now silent reminders of her absence. Because of the circumstances of my sister's death, we were denied the opportunity to say a final goodbye and to observe our customs, adding a layer of profound, unfinished grief to our loss. Anna was a mother, a daughter, a sister, and a friend. Her life was unfairly taken. We miss her beyond words. While we recognize that no sentence can bring her back, we ask the court to consider the permanent long-lasting impact this loss has had on our family, especially her children. We stand in agreement with the Commonwealth and their recommendations. Finally, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to the investigators, the Commonwealth's office, and everyone who has worked tirelessly on this case. Your dedication to seeking justice for my sister has provided our family with a sense of support during our darkest hours. Your Honor, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share the full weight of this incomprehensible act. Anna will never be forgotten. We will carry her light and her memory with us forever. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Careful.
Yes. Sorry.
On our sister.
Your Honor, we have no other victim impact statements other than the ones that we've submitted in writing.
All right, thank you. All right. I have read the Commonwealth sentencing recommendation, the written recommendation, but I'll have you state it on the record.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Commonwealth is requesting that the defendant be sentenced to a series of consecutive sentences on the charges to run from and after his federal case in which he received a sentence of 37 months in February of 2024. The first charge that the Commonwealth would seek an incarceration component on is count 003, and that the defendant be sentenced to 2.5 to 3 years. The second charge would be that he, on the misleading 002, to run from and after 003, that he receive a sentence of 18 to 20 years. And that the third charge, the murder, in the first degree, that the defendant be sentenced to life without the possibility of parole to run from and after 003 and 002. And, Your Honor, if I may be heard in our argument.
Please.
Thank you, Your Honor. When you look at the facts of these three charges, each one calls for a harsh penalty. If you look at the illegal conveyance of a body, the defendant did not just, the person that he illegally conveyed was his wife and the mother of his 3 children. And he did it by removing her remains from the family home and placing them in buckets, in garbage bags, in dumpsters around the Commonwealth. He denied, as you just heard, her family the opportunity to have any customs or burial. There is no grave, there is no memorial. And he did this all in an effort to destroy evidence. On the misleading component, Your Honor, while we do mention the potential of probation, we put that in there only as data so that you understand the efforts that went in to trying to find Anna based on the defendant's series of lies. These lies were all done in an effort to cover up his crime and destroy evidence. We're also, while we put in that, we are not seeking a probation sentence, but we put it in there so the court, if it wanted to contemplate one, understood there was an option to do it that would prevent the defendant potentially from trying to profit from this.
So the only mechanism for me, as I see it anyway, the only mechanism for me under the restrictions of state law,
Yes, Your Honor.
it's an either-or situation. That is, either I incarcerate him for an additional period of time, either concurrent or consecutive, or I put him on probation following the life sentence, or maybe it even starts today. But the only way that restitution can be achieved on count 2 is through a probationary sentence. So I don't think there's any other mechanism for me doing that. So I don't know how you achieve that goal if without a probationary sentence and mandating it as a condition of probation. And so I want the Commonwealth to be clear with me. You're making note of it in passing, but you are not asking me to put him on a probationary sentence. Is that correct?
We are not, Your Honor. It is data that you can use in order to determine the scope of his lies in which the police relied on them. And you can see the costs that went into investigating the disappearance of Anna Walshe, but we are not asking for probation on this matter.
And the same question with regard to the issue of restitution that I heard rumblings of yesterday.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same result?
Same result. It is, again, it's data for you in determining your sentence, but we are not asking for it.
All right, just wanted to be clear on that.
Thank you, Your Honor. And then on the murder, again, this was the murder of his wife and the mother of his 3 children. And the cover-up of this murder, Your Honor, deserves some analysis. If you look at the first internet search, which occurred at approximately 4:52 a.m. on the 1st, how to dispose of a body, and how they evolve into eventually 11:24 a.m., how to dispose of body parts after a murder, it appears the defendant at this point in time is committed to getting rid of evidence of the crime. And it leads to the shopping sprees later on that night at Lowe's and CVS and Stop and Shop. However, if you look at the internet searches on the second, how to dismember a body, and is a hacksaw the best tool to dismember a body? It's a reasonable inference he hasn't started the action yet. And it results in the second shopping spree to Home Depot that afternoon, which means that Anna Walshe has been dead in that basement for over 24 hours. The same home his children are in, the same home the babysitter's at, the same home his mother has come to visit. And in the evening between the 2nd and the 3rd is when the dismemberment occurs, and on the 3rd we see him going to dumpsters, getting rid of the remains. In the defendant's sentencing memo, and I want to note, the defendant was represented by 2 excellent lawyers who are titans in this industry, who I have the highest respect for. They say the Commonwealth's recommendation is inhumane. I suggest that that's not the appropriate word choice, because if we were to look at that word, I would suggest that that describes the defendant's actions and the depravity of his actions of murdering his wife, dismembering her, and getting rid of her remains by throwing her away like garbage. The question might become whether or not this is a cruel and unusual punishment that the Commonwealth is recommending. And I direct Your Honor to one case. It's Cepulonis, CEPULONIS versus the Commonwealth, 384 Mass 495 at 497. It's a 1981 case. To reach the level of cruel and unusual punishment, the punishment must be so disproportionate to the crime that it shocks the conscience and offends the notion of human dignity. I don't know if that's possible in this case, Your Honor, because human dignity was completely offended by the defendant's actions and how he treated his wife, how he disposed of her, and how he robbed her family and friends of the opportunity to bury her. There is no death certificate. The church will not allow a funeral to go on at this point in time. We are working on trying to work with the ME's office to see if we can get a death certificate to issue now, based on the conviction and based on the plea. And when I looked behind me after the closing arguments, I realized that that was the closest thing that those people had come to a wake, because they never got together to mourn her. And that happened 3 years later. So with that, Your Honor, the Commonwealth does make a punishment that we recommend to you. We recognize it's harsh, but we think it's appropriate based on the facts. And I appreciate your time, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll hear from the defense.
With respect to the first-degree murder conviction, although we made it clear from our memorandum that we do object to a life without parole sentence based on state and U.S. constitutional grounds, based on the Eighth Amendment, we understand the court has no discretion. With respect to indictments 2 and 3, you do. I think inhumane is the right word, respectfully. To sentence someone to prison posthumously to send a message is humane. It's dehumanizing him. Regardless of what happened in this courtroom, regardless of the convictions, regardless of what anyone believes about this person, he is a human. He is a father, he is a son, and he has been a friend to many. The life sentence is mandatory, but to do consecutive sentences, I think, is inappropriate and is inhumane. Anytime there is a death, a murder, a loss of life, it is horrible, whether it's a loved one or a stranger. And the legislature has provided, regardless of our disagreement, that a life sentence without parole is mandatory. But that does not negate that he is a human being. And I don't think sentencing him to on and after time is appropriate. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Do it, do it.
What he was convicted of were atrocious acts. We've heard from her family, we've heard from her friends. Their pain is unimaginable, and I'm not demeaning that, but I have the opportunity to speak for Brian today. And I'm asking the court to sentence him in line with the guidelines and with the purpose of sentencing. Punishment, justice, prevention of future crimes, consecutive sentences, that's excessive and it doesn't meet those needs. So I'd ask the court to adopt the defendant's sentencing recommendation.
No, thank you. Inhumane. Damn, for a dismemberer. First-degree murder, dismemberment, improper disposal of a human body, lying to the police with a smug look on his face probably. No, I'm going for LWOP plus restitution consecutive, whatever it is. It varies in different countries, right? Like here in Switzerland, if someone were to commit first-degree murder and dismemberment, they would get intentional homicide, a custodial sentence of at least 5 years. And it could be a life sentence, but they would be up for parole after 15. You know what I mean? So in different countries, it can work differently. Okay, you can see less sentences than LWOP. But do you think someone capable of that would just never do anything again? And think about all the crimes he committed before. Scamming people, defrauding people, all of that. Okay, anyway, let's hear that. Let's hear what the judge says. Look at him. He's like, yes.
I want to put on the record that the defendant, in making its argument with regard to the inhumane aspect of any consecutive sentences, cited to a case in its brief, Donovan. Donovan does not apply to this case. As an initial matter, Donovan related to a larceny involving a single act that resulted in 7 different victims being victimized. The SJC, that was I think a 1985 case. The appellate courts in Massachusetts have long since distinguished Donovan, even in the case of larcenies, which is not the case that's before me, to recognize that even Donovan relates only to a single act case and not one with one purpose. As you could argue, there was one purpose here, but more than one discrete offense. So I'm not persuaded by the logic of Donovan, even if it applied to this case, and even if it was as broad-reaching as the defense suggests in its sentencing memo, which the court finds it is not.
Lucy Skittle said, Lucy Skittle said, he looks like he's waiting for a train. He's checking his Rolex there. Oh, is it arriving yet? Brian Walshe, can you read the room? Inhumane. Damn. I hope Judge Freniere gives him LWOP and consecutive sentences. It doesn't make a difference. It's life without parole, so he's never getting out.
There is no task facing a judge that is more important or more difficult than crafting an appropriate sentence. The legislature mandates that the only appropriate sentence for the jury's verdict, murder in the first degree, is life in prison without the possibility of parole. That sentence is immensely appropriate and just, given your murderous acts and the life trauma that you've inflicted upon your own children. As to counts 2 and 3, I have wide discretion in sentencing. I want to state my rationale for your sentences on those 2 counts on the record now. I have considered various factors with regard to my sentence for counts 2 and counts 3, to which you pled guilty on November 18th, 2025. Specifically, I've considered the severity of the crimes, their nature and circumstances, and your role in those crimes, the need to deter others from committing comparable crimes, and your prior criminal record, namely your federal fraud case. As to the latter, your criminal history shows a long and well-documented history of deceitful and manipulative behavior. I've considered your character, or lack thereof, your behavior, and your background. With regard to the nature and circumstances of the offenses, as to indictment 002, in the approximately 4 hours of interviews spanning 4 days, you concocted a detailed, completely fabricated story of what happened to Anna Walshe on January 1st, 2023, in order to cover up your murder of her and disposal of her body. Your lies triggered a multi-day, extensive missing persons investigation. A command center was set up in Cohasset and was manned by various law enforcement, to include the Cohasset Police Department and the Massachusetts State Police, and local and Massachusetts resources were deployed to Washington, D.C. to investigate at Anna's home. Because of your lies, thousands of hours of investigative resources were wasted and diverted from other deserving cases and investigations. As to the nature and circumstances of count 3, the improper disposal of Anna Walshe's body, the seriousness of your acts cannot be overstated. Your acts in dismembering your wife's body and disposing of her remains in multiple area dumpsters can only be described as barbaric and incomprehensible. You had no regard for the lifelong mental harm that your criminal acts inflicted on your then 2, 4, and 6-year-old sons, not only in taking their mother, but also, as is specific to this charge, in never being able to properly grieve that loss, to say goodbye to their mom. And I hear today the same is equally true of a sister who never was able to say a proper goodbye to her sister, a mother who never was able to say a proper goodbye to her daughter and many friends who had the same loss. As to indictments 2 and 3, I have considered the sentencing guidelines, the aggravating factors. There are no mitigating factors in this case. And I also sought out and considered information from the Massachusetts Sentencing Commission, again, which I shared with the parties earlier this week, in particular sentencings in 2022 and 2023 of defendants who were convicted of murder and/or voluntary manslaughter, along with a Chapter 268, Section 13B conviction. This is not a guideline case. Finally, as to the first-degree murder conviction, I have considered the loss of the life of an innocent, remarkable woman, Anna Walshe, and its devastating impact on her children, as relayed to me in the letter from DCF, her family, as relayed to me in her sister's victim impact statement today, friends in their victim impact statements, in the community. In the trial testimony of Jem Mutlu and Alyssa Kirby, a little bit of Anna Walshe, her warm, powerful, and embracing spirit came to life in this historic courtroom. I have carefully listened to the moving victim impact statement, to the oral written sentencing arguments made by the Commonwealth and by Mr. Walshe. It's clear to me that Anna was a bright light in the lives of many people. She lifted people up. I am sure that nothing I say and no sentence I can impose, even a life sentence, will lessen the grief that Anna Walshe's family, her mother, sister, and 3 boys, extended like family, confidants, friends, and others have endured and will continue to endure. Although I consider the letter of Diane Walshe, I simply cannot reconcile the person Diane Walshe describes in her letter with the person who stands before me for sentence. Mr. Walshe, you can stand. Mr. Walshe, you will live with the guilt and burden of Anna Walshe's death for the rest of your life. As to count 1, the jury having convicted you of murder in the first degree, I sentence you to life in prison without the possibility of parole. As to indictment 2, lying to the police in connection with the investigation of a life felony, I sentence you to no less than 19 years, no more than 20 years, the statutory maximum, in prison to be served consecutive to the life sentence in 001. The legislature caps the maximum sentence for the improper disposal of a body at 3 years in state prison. As to indictment 003, the improper disposal of the body of your wife, Anna Walshe, I sentence you to no less than 2 years, 364 days, and no more than 3 years in state prison to run consecutive to the sentences in 001 and 002. I want to make one other notation with regard to the sentences that I'm giving today. Earlier in this case, I identified that there was an error in Mr. Walsh's III. That error persists to today. Specifically, so the record is clear, as I understand Mr. Walsh's prior federal sentence, he was sentenced to 37 months in federal prison. That sentence was to run concurrent with any state sentence that was given in this case. This morning, I asked probation to run his III again. and it is still incorrect. It is showing a 5-year probationary sentence. At my direction, the probation department in the last month, or perhaps a little bit longer, contacted the federal probation office in Boston to correct what I think is an obvious error in his III. It has not been corrected, and it stands still today as showing 5 years of probation as the sentence. To the extent that confuses anything in my sentencing, I want the record to reflect that, again, it's my understanding he was sentenced to 37 months in federal prison to run concurrent with this sentence that I'm now imposing today. Madam Clerk, you may impose the sentence.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Triple I, triple indictment. Damn, the judge really handed it to him, huh? Consecutive, whoa. LWOP plus 20 plus 3 consecutive. Look at Larry Tipton, he's
Mr.
not
Walsh,
amused.
the jury having returned a guilty verdict on charge 1, murder in the first degree, you were sentenced to the state prison for the term of your natural life. Count 2, witness intimidation, you having entered a guilty plea to that, sir, you're sentenced to 19 years, not less than 19, not more than 20 years, to run from and after your life sentence on count 1. On count 3, improper disposal of a body, you're sentenced to not less than 2 years and 364 days and not more than 3 years to run from and after the sentence on count 2. You will receive 1,076 days credit for time deemed served while awaiting the disposition of this matter. All fees and fines in this matter are waived. You're all set, Mr. Walsh. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel.
Oh boy. We don't even have to say cuff him because he's already cuffed. Bye. Forever. He's like, it's okay. I will be appealing all of this. Wow, the courtroom is fuller now, huh? Was a little more empty this morning.
Goodbye.
It's full. Don't say, listen. No. We want to see. Let's just see what's going on here. I just want to see one more time here. Let's just see the courtroom. I'm going to pause. Okay, so off he goes. He even turns around. They don't even have to do the tap on the shoulder like, come buddy, let's go. He's like, yeah, okay, let's just go. Let's go. Wow. And he didn't make a statement. Not that they even asked. Because the question to the defense was, do you have any other written statements? And they said no. So I was thinking, okay, well, that gives room for verbal statements from the defendant. Clearly, he didn't want to. Oh, my word, he's really spineless, hey? Wow, okay.
Madam Clerk.
There we go. Could see people in the courtroom there, right? Wow, okay. Quite a lot of people. I don't recognize many. Sure.
Goodbye.
Oh my word. Okay. Rexy said, she was there, Grizzly. You didn't pause it soon enough to see her. Well, gee, sorry. Where? I really didn't see her. Okay, are we ready? Is that her in the pink? Are we going to watch again? Here we go. Stop it. There she is. You're right. She's this lady in pink. Okay. Diana Walsh, you get your ass out there and get on the mic. Say something. Ooh, she's very unamused. Obviously, she said that her son, she was very close to him. He's an only child. She was very close to her son. Yeah, so she's there. She was there for sentencing. And the courtroom, when they first, when he first entered the courtroom, it was very empty. Clearly, the courtroom filled up. I kind of wish that they showed us an angle, of the judge as she was reading out the sentence. I wish I could have seen her face while she's looking at him. But it was also interesting to see, of course, Brian Walsh's face throughout that sentencing, right? So, yeah, okay. So there she is. Here's Matt Johnson, below the picture here of Anna from Court TV as well. I like the look this guy's giving to Brian Walshe. Here's Sergeant Schmidt. I'll recognize him too. Okay, that's about it, right? Ta-ta now. Time to get a buzz cut and a jail jumpsuit. The hell's he not wearing a jail jumpsuit for? My goodness. Thank you so much for watching this trial with me. I'm so glad that justice for Anna was served. You know, what a horrible way to go, and what a horrible way to not even be able to be buried, as the state pointed out, right? Because they never found her body, because she was thrown in the trash and the trash was incinerated. That's why. It's not that it's a mystery. It's incinerated, destroyed. Terrible for her family and friends, of course. Sugar Baby, thank you so much for the sticker. Thank you, everyone. I look forward to watching another trial with you. I'm not ever sure. Everyone says, what next? What's next? I don't know. We take it day by day and week by week and we see what's next, okay? Keeping everybody on their toes, including myself. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful day, whatever time it is for you further, and I'll see you very soon. As you know, we follow lots of cases and there's lots of updates to always talk about. So again, make sure you subscribe, notifications on, leave some comments below, because I can now reply to you with a voice note, okay? And I really like that feature. So I'm doing that more and more, so leave your comments below. See you soon. Bye, everyone.